Our viewers and listeners on MLB Network, Padres.com, and 97.3 The Fan. Before we begin our program, we would like to take a brief moment to remember our beloved owner and chairman, Peter Seidler, who, as you know, passed away last week at the age of 63. He was the guiding light of the Padres organization, and he will be dearly missed by everyone, not only with the Padres, but in the entire San Diego community and throughout the game of baseball. Our hearts are with his wife, Shildt, their 3 children, and the entire Seidler family. Thank you. Now on to some very exciting news at hand here today from Petco Park. It is with great joy we officially introduce and celebrate the 23rd manager in Padres history, Mike Shildt. Alongside Mike on the stage this morning is Padres President of Baseball Operations and General Manager, A.J. Preller. We will begin today's program with opening remarks from A.J. and Mike before we open up the questions to all of you. So at this time, we hand it off to A.J. Preller.
Thanks, Don. Just wanted to say a few things about Peter as well. It's been amazing to see the outpouring of love and support for Peter from Padre fans, from the San Diego community, from the baseball world, and throughout the country. For me personally, he was an amazing boss, mentor, and friend. I think our main connection, we shared the love of the game of baseball, and coaches, players, definitely the fans, and especially scouting and being on the field. Fortunately or unfortunately, we also shared a love of really big baggy clothes and some strange fashion sense. And just in talking to our players and our staff and our organization the last week, not that we need any extra motivation this year, but Peter's message of being best in class, we'll make sure that we follow through on that this year down here at Petco. And I'm looking forward to the baseball gods smiling down many moments this year on our club. So Peter be very excited about today as we announce Mike Shildt as the manager of the San Diego Padres. This story really started a couple of years ago with Mike. We sat down and talked to him about managing the club 2 years ago. Mike honestly just said he probably wasn't ready at that moment, but he was excited to join an organization where he could learn and grow from, and where he could use his expertise and knowledge to help that organization. First and foremost, Mike is a baseball expert. His acumen in the game, X's and O's, strategy, how to teach the game, how to progress the game on the field. It's been built from many years of managing, many bus rides, many conversations in clubhouses, chalk talks, instructional leagues, eventually as a major league coach and as a major league manager. Mike Shildt teams are very prepared and detail-oriented. From the years of talking to Mike, and especially in the last couple of seasons, his communication with players and his style is very open and transparent. Talking to Tommy Pham, Blake Snell, Adron Chambers, guys that I've had the opportunity to come across over the last few years, they talk about Mike as a mentor, as a leader, something that's impacted them both on and off the field. Mike he takes a lot of pride in being labeled as an organization person. And I think that's going to serve us very well. He's had the opportunity over the last 2 years to get to know staff members, minor leagues, and the major leagues, and our players. I look forward to him giving a voice to those staff members here in the years to come to help the Padres be best in class on the field. And lastly, and most importantly, the game's about winning, and Mike's done a ton of winning, both at the amateur level and obviously at the minor league level. He's won 3 championships in the years that he was down there. At the big league level, 17 games in a row, which knocked us out of the playoffs in 2021. We saw that firsthand. And obviously getting to the playoffs multiple times as the manager of the Cardinals. So we're extremely excited today to announce Mike Shildt as the next manager of the Padres.
get this thing down. Thanks, AJ. Appreciate you, brother. All right. Thank you, AJ. I appreciate it. Well, before I get started on what I want to say, I want to also echo some of my thoughts on Mr. Seidler and the passing with him. Last 2 years, when I first joined the organization, one of the things besides the AJ's advocation for me joining the organization and my wanting to be with AJ and learn from him and be a part of this organization, Mr. Seidler promised to meet with me once a month for a standing meeting, just to talk baseball and get to know me. And that was really appealing to me. And candidly, I thought the owner of the team would follow up on his word, but maybe carve out 10 minutes here or there. And he actually carved out an hour to an hour and a half every time. And I cherished the 10 plus times I was able to sit down with him, talk baseball, talk life, talk community, talk charity. And I just, what a beautiful soul, as everybody knows, and just very blessed to have gotten to know such a fine gentleman with such a pure goodness about him. And to AJ's point, I want to also echo, I'm going to be a big part in helping carry his vision for the San Diego Padres moving forward to ultimately us winning a first World Series championship for the San Diego Padres and for the city of San Diego. And I'm really excited about it. And so that'll be one way we can remember the great legacy of Peter Seidler. And I'm also excited about the ownership that exists and staying in the family and some of the people involved that I've gotten to know that clearly are first in class as well. So next I want to thank this gentleman beside me right here. I am really excited to partner with AJ Preller. I've appreciated and respected the work that's been done in this organization for years and the ability to accrue talent and the way things have operated. And then when I've gotten over here, I've enjoyed the opportunity to get to know him. And I look forward to partnering with him and working side by side to develop that world championship that we all seek. So thanks, AJ. Appreciate it. There's a lot of people I'd like to thank, people that have been supporting me the last several years. I'm really grateful for a second act. Not everybody gets it. You take it for granted. There's only 30 of these jobs, and I can promise you I won't take this one for granted. And I'm excited about our team. I'm sure we'll get into some questions about what that looks like, but I love our group. It's a fantastic group of young men with clear talent. And ultimately what we're here to do is win. And we're going to do it together as an organization, from the front office to the ownership to the clubhouse, through our player development department that's really making strides in developing the next championship quality players. So I'm excited and welcome any and all questions.
We will start with AJ Cazavel from MLB.com.
Hi, Mike. You were obviously here the last 2 years, and obviously expectations of 2023 very high. Team didn't live up to them. I'm wondering kind of what are your thoughts on what happened in 2023 and kind of how you set things right going forward?
Well, I mean, we learned from what happened in the past, but I think it's better to learn from it and then move on. We'll have already had some dialogue. I was there. Don't want to live too much about it. Clearly we just came up short. And I know this group, and talking to some of the guys already, I know there was some clear disappointment in the clubhouse at the end of the season that I'm sure will resonate with the group moving forward. Ultimately it's going to be about playing and winning baseball. And I alluded to it, it's 4 components to me. There's a lot of things that fall into these components, but it starts with us being together. And I don't want to misrepresent this group wasn't together last year. That wouldn't be accurate. Just making sure we continue to develop a team and a one mentality of singular purpose to win baseball games. And then we're going to play the game fundamentally sound. We're going to play the game right. We're going to throw strikes. We're going to catch the baseball. We're going to be really efficient with our offense. We're going to run the bases well. We're going to be a very detailed, buttoned-up club. And we're also going to have a lot of fun. We're going to enjoy it. We've got a fun group, with the guys with a lot of talent. So, I love it when Toddy does his moonwalk back to first base, and I love Manny Machado's $1 million smile, and I love Joe Musgrove's passion for the city and his competition, and I can go on, and Ah Sun Kim flying around the field playing the game the right way with a lot of heart and desire and talent. So, we're going to get it. We're going to have a good time with it. We're going to play with some swagger, but we're also going to play with some substance as well.
Kind of a question for both of you, but Mike, you've worked with this front office. You've worked with AJ the past couple of years. How does that kind of benefit you, knowing what goes into it? And AJ, how does that benefit you, having seen Mike and worked with Mike in the past couple of years?
Well, I alluded to it earlier. I mean, listen, me and AJ are equally yoked in our love for the game, and it's probably in all caps, love. We both are we're baseball rats. We love it, and that's one thing that's a common bond for us. I've got a little bit of a scouting background, so we like to talk scouting, share some stories, like to bend his ear about it. AJ's got a clarity about what player development looks like, so we like to have those conversations. They're just really easy, and multiple of our conversations, they last for a long time, and they seem like it's 15 minutes. So there's familiarity there, there's equal-mindedness, and there's a passion for greatness, championship caliber baseball.
Vanessa and Tiffany both have microphones on both sides. If you have a question, just raise your hand. We'll get the microphone to you. Jeff Sanders from the Union Tribune is up next.
Mike,
Did I cut you off, AJ?
No, I'm good. Jeff, this discussion. All right. I'll just AJ was talking about, from my standpoint, I think clearly when we went through this process, we had some really good candidates that were, part of the organization and some other candidates from outside. But Mike, being familiar with our players, our staff, the minor leagues, I think, again, like we have a team that we feel really confident is a team that can win a lot of games and play in the playoffs next year. So I think, not having to get Mike up to speed on kind of where we're at, good, and what this group is capable of. He knows it. He's seen it firsthand the last couple of years. That was definitely a factor for us.
Mike, you mentioned second act. What do you think you could take away from your first, especially at the end of your days with the Cardinals? That's going to inform the way you now moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you grow from your experiences. We had a lot of success. I was in an organization for 18 years and blessed to have been able to do it, and was raised by a lot of really capable, quality, Hall of Fame caliber baseball people that served me well when I was there. And, listen, AJ alluded to 17 games, so I think it mostly ended pretty well from a field standpoint. And, yeah, we did eliminate you, but we owed you one from 2020 when you guys knocked us out here. So, yeah, there's a lot of reflection of what that looks like and growth. And, clearly I've done that, and, I'm a better version of myself and excited about the opportunity now.
I know it's first day. Do you have any ideas about staff, anybody you'd like to bring along?
I thought you were going to have that lineup. Yeah, no, I'll let AJ talk with the staff. We've talked about it. It's pretty fluid. I know the group that was on staff that I worked with is very talented, high character people, and I welcome the opportunity to work with any of them.
Yeah, I think from the staff standpoint, obviously, we'll get to work here the next couple of days. A lot of staff members on, under contract that, Mike, myself, we have a lot of faith in, and, we'll look to fill in the staff out here over the next couple of days and weeks.
Jake from CBS 8.
Hey, Mike, right here. Just wondering, AJ had mentioned that when they looked at hiring you a couple years ago that you weren't quite ready or in the right place. What do you think has changed from then till now?
Yeah, I mean, it was fresh off a stretch run and 18 years of one place, and so it was just not the time, a week later for me to commit to a new organization with all my heart and my head. So super grateful for the opportunity, enjoyed the opportunity to interview, and really started to get to appreciate the organization. So when it didn't work out at the time, was excited about talking to AJ about coming on board and being an advisor and doing some of the things I've done. So, now look, I'm more than ready. I'm hungry and ready to get after it and ready to win a lot of baseball games. And, we talk about winning the World Series, and clearly that's the North Star, as has been alluded to. We got to start win our division. We haven't competed as well to, win that division in the NL West the last couple of years. And, I expect that to be the first goal, is to knock down the West and move forward from there.
And AJ, a question for you without getting too personal. Wondering if you and Peter, before his passing, had conversations about which way you wanted to go with the manager, and if he had thoughts on Mike.
Yeah, I think, again, Peter, obviously, he's me and him talked a lot of baseball over the years, and obviously in the last, this past season. So I had a pretty good idea of, where his head was at. But Peter's always unbelievably supportive of our baseball ops team and our group, and he would ask a lot of questions and ask us kind of where we're at on certain things. But at the end of the day, he had a trust and belief and faith in the people that he hired to make those decisions, and this one was no different.
Annie Halbern.
Mike, learning from men like George Kissel and Mark DeJean, how did that shape your managerial career?
Oh, man, you talk about two amazing baseball legends. Legitimately, and of course for me, George Kissel was in the organization 66 years in St. Louis. And, you're talking about a guy that got Tony La Russa to start managing, Earl Weaver start managing the minor leagues, Sparky Anderson start managing the minor leagues, Jimmy Leland, Joe Torre. And when those guys mentioned George in their Hall of Fame speech, you've done something. And Candle, should be in the Hall of Fame himself. And Mark DeJean was my mentor, over there 33 years, and George's right-hand man for 20. And the thing I appreciate about them the most is they just cared about you. They also made it clear, AJ mentioned about being a good organizational person. That was indoctrinated into me from those two gentlemen. I carry Mr. Kissel's book. It's in my satchel. Are you an organizational man? I read it every day. So I wish George was still here so I could ask him what his interpretation sometimes of that looked like. But, both these guys poured into me, gave me truth, gave me knowledge, and also didn't allow me to alibi anything. They were very sincere about wanting me to be the best version of myself and held me accountable to that. And after you got through managing a minor league game, the yellow pad session started where they had written down notes, and they just grilled you after games. Why'd you do this? Why'd you do that? And after a couple of years, I thought, I've kind of got the answers to this thing. And then I said, kind of not fought back, but pushed back. And you don't think you know what you know yet. And so it prepared me. So when I got the opportunity to manage in the big leagues, people have asked me, were you ready for that? And in all humility, I just was. I mean, you can't account for things you hadn't experienced yet. But the forward thinking of what I was trained allowed me to, from a baseball standpoint, to be locked in.
There are a lot of superstars, a lot of personalities in this clubhouse. How do you manage that? What do you lead with when you approach that?
Well, first of all, you need to make sure that they're themselves. I've, again, a great fortune of coming from a place where I managed some really good players and future Hall of Famers, and I got some really nice texts today from a couple of those guys. And then you grow up with it. I grew up in a AA clubhouse with the Orioles in Charlotte, North Carolina, and Sean Cal Ripken Jr.'s shoes. So I got a chance to watch greatness at an early age. And so, biggest thing is just about relationships, getting to know guys, and ultimately working with them. I mean, these are high-level, high-performing, exceptional talents that we have in this club, and I'm excited to work with them, help create a structure where they can thrive, and create accountability where the team can thrive as well. So, let them be themselves in a team setting, get buy-in from them, which I don't think is going to be an issue at all. These guys are tremendous guys and super hungry, as I alluded to, and let them go, let them enjoy it.
Dennis Lynn, The Athletic.
Well, Mike, how do you define the Cardinal way, and how do you plan to instill what you've learned and preached over here?
Thanks, Dennis. You know what? Listen, there is a way, but it's the Padre way. It's core baseball demands what CBD we talk about here. It's just winning baseball. You can talk about old school, talk about new school. It's just good baseball. So it's not really a way of where I come from. I mean, there's a way to play the game. I alluded to it earlier with AJ's question. It's about us being together, our group being unified from front office on down with our club, and then our player development system, which has done a great job with Riley Westman's leadership of getting that next wave of group to come up and support us to win baseball games. And then it's just about being fundamentally sound and playing the game right, playing hard, playing smart, play to win the game, and doing the little things right that allows you to win on the margins. And that's just good baseball regardless of whether I was coaching at West Charlotte High School in 1994 or UNC Asheville or UNC Charlotte or any of the stops along the way. So, there's a way we like to compete, and that's about playing the game the right way and respecting the game and getting after it.
Are you old school or are you new school? Do you consider yourself a blend? And how do you value analytics in today's
I'll
game?
say this: if you're going to say I'm old school and buy into that philosophy, you're going to turn into old fool real quick. It's a very fixed mindset. So it's really about whatever we can do to make our club the best version of themselves individually and collectively. And the thing that I also love about this organization is the resources that are provided. There's no stone left unturned in this organization that allows us, regardless of department, to succeed. And we have high-quality people in our department. So it's really just a blend of all of it. Again, it's fundamentally sound, but let's make sure you have the sweet spot of blending everything together to create an opportunity to understand how to play the game in a holistic fashion with all the information out there.
Ben Higgins.
Question for AJ. AJ, what questions or insights did you get from some of the managerial candidates you interviewed over the past few weeks about the Padres organization?
Yeah, I mean, I think again, like I think there's a lot of people that are excited about the team. I think I think on the candidates we talked to, Mike and others that have been here, there was a lot of talk about again what we learned from this past year and what we need to do more importantly, looking forward to to get back to October. But in general, like these exercises, it's always an ability to gather information, find out from some people from outside the organization, hey, what does this look like? What do you think? What are you seeing from afar? We take in those opinions and we'll be able to utilize them here down the road.
And Mike, did you have anything specific kind of for AJ during this process that you wanted to know more about?
No, just a little more, deeper dive into things. We've had a lot of good conversations over the years. I say we're equally yoked. Doesn't mean we always have to agree, but we always have each other's back, which is very important. So there wasn't anything other than just a little deeper dive into some philosophy and thoughts, and just making sure again, it was an interview process. So rightfully, the process took a long time to get the person that the organization felt was the best fit, and I was appreciative of the thoroughness of it and the opportunity to be interviewed and now be selected. But no, we had great conversations, just a matter of getting a little deeper in some different subject matter.
Darnay Tripp, NBC7.
Mike, that 2020 postseason was about as unique a time as you could experience. What do you remember specifically about those three games, that series, and it being here?
It was odd. It was different, but I remember being, once the game started, it was the playoffs. It was go time, and we won the first game and had the lead in the second game, and then tied a 3-run homer, and he had that killer look about him, and at that point, we scratched and clawed, but they were a better club that time. So it was a good series, good two clubs. They were short a little bit on some pitching, ran out some good bullpen arms, ran a bullpen game the third game, and it was a really hard-fought series, and obviously different without the playoff atmosphere, but it was hard-fought playoff baseball.
You mentioned being equally yoked going into this. For both of you, what's the key to kind of maintaining that shared vision and philosophy now going forward?
It's just continual communication. I mean, just continue to talk and share thoughts and collaborate on what we're doing and stay unified with how we're looking to do things. And listen, at the end of the day, I'm at the pleasure of the Padres, and so I get the chance to voice my opinion, share my thoughts, input, and whatever we decide, I execute, and I execute whether it was my idea or not.
I think, Darnay, again, like the ability to throw topics on the table and be open to constantly trying to get better. We're doing that throughout the entire organization, and that's from the last 2 years working with Mike hand in hand. He loves that process, so I think that's a big part of it for us, honestly, going forward.
Stephen Woods, 97.3 The Fan.
Hey, Mike, welcome. Ran into Jackson Merrill outside. No kidding. He was outside with his girlfriend, and you've got his vote of confidence. He said you're the right guy for the job. I wanted to ask you, how close are you with some of the younger guys, and who are you the most excited about, some of the guys coming up?
Well, that's good to hear. I've texted with Jackson earlier today. I've gotten to know him over the last couple of years, really enjoy him. Love his ability. Nice player, and he gets after it, and he's got a really, really good head on his shoulders. And a strong desire to be great and to play here at Petco and be great and to help us compete with winning clubs. I've had the real good fortune of this past spring training to help coordinate with a lot of Riley staff a prospect camp. that we ran with a lot of the players down there that, you know, ended up having really good seasons. And then at the end of the year, AJ asked me to go down and watch San Antonio in the playoffs. So got a chance to see Iriarte and Paulie and Marcy and Martarola and Mazer and, you know, all the guys. And I don't want to leave anybody out here because there's a lot of talented guys down there. But so I've had the chance to work back and forth between the different departments, you know, pop in instructionally. We had a day off in Arizona. Went over and took the day off and went over to the complex and spoke to the new drafted players. Spoke with Dylan Head and that group. So it's something I really enjoy doing and excited about the future for some of the young players coming up.
Todd Strand.
AJ, Padre fans with Peter Seidler, they knew what they were getting. They're all in on winning, spending money on the club, improving the fan experience. Padre fans don't know much about Eric Casenda and how this organization is going to work moving forward. Can you kind of walk us through how it's going to work and shed some light on what will be similar and what will be different?
Yeah, I mean, I think with Peter, I think you know, again, like it's not just Peter; it's a phenomenal family. You know, like the Seidler family, and obviously their you know, their experience and history in the game of baseball. And I think, you know, from Eric Rubner, myself, the conversations with Eric Casenda here over the last few years, his partnership with Peter, and then here in the last few months. Yeah, I think we understand it. Everybody's on the same page in terms of this is long term. You know, the vision that Peter set out in terms of, you know, long term, every single season, having the ability to compete for championships, playing into October, and understanding that you need talented players, talented rosters, and resources to do that. So, you know, I think from our standpoint, that's the marching orders going forward, and you know, we're excited about continuing what's been set in motion the last few years.
Couple more. AJ Casabell.
AJ, I know today's more about Mike, but just the roster right now after some of the moves you made last week and viewing kind of I'm wondering how you kind of view the pitching staff and the need to go out and acquire some pitching over the next few weeks, months.
You know, obviously, I think with the you know, the free agency from some of our pitchers and a few of the guys opting out, that's clearly an area of need. And you know, similar to last year, we were able to line up on, you know, Michael Wacha, Seth Lugo, or in years past Nick Martinez, or you know, obviously Snell, Darvish, and Musgrove. It's you know, our group is identifying and has identified, you know, players and pitchers that we're gonna you know, and that's what the next few weeks are about, is looking to add starters and depth. So Mike has a lot of options and guys that can go take the ball and get us deep into the games. And then from a bullpen standpoint, you're always every year kind of looking to get a lot of good bullpen options for your staff. And again, that's what the next couple of weeks we get the chance to shift a little bit now and get ready for the winter meetings, and you know, start adding to the staff and you know, looking to build a championship caliber pitching staff here going forward.
Jim Russell.
Yes, for AJ. A couple weeks ago, Scott Boras mentioned that Juan Soto was in your plans for this upcoming season. Do you think that Juan Soto will be here next year, and do you expect him to be part of your plans for upcoming season?
Yeah, I think, you know, Juan Soto's, you know, a player like that's always in your plans. You know, I think obviously that's, you know, the off season will, you know, we'll get to the next couple of weeks and you know, continue conversations with Scott, Juan, and kind of get a sense of where he's at for, you know, what it means down the road for San Diego in terms of a contract, and then also, you know, we understand the value of Juan playing for us, you know, next year on a contract year. So having his bat in the lineup is important. You know, I think at the end of the day, you know, you're always from an off-season standpoint, you'll listen and we'll listen, but we think our position player team is very strong. We'd like to keep that position player team together. We also understand we've got to go out and add some pitching to the group that we currently have. So I think that's what the next few weeks will be about.
Congratulations again, Mike. Thank you for joining us today. And we wish you all a very happy Thanksgiving coming up, and we'll see you very soon. Thank you.